Welcome to SteveMarsh After Dark Edition. Tonight I'm going to take you on the sleeper train from here at Edinburgh Waverley down to London Euston, where we'll arrive before the sun comes up. Let's get going.
Doors opening.
Now, although today's video is about the Caledonian Sleeper, be sure to stay tuned and I'll bring you a wee Scottish bonus from the heart of London. There is a lounge just beside me here that my club ticket would normally give me access to, but as is normal in these times, there's staff shortages and it's closed. But I have heard it's not really up to much. I've left the station again for just now because I'm far too early, but also Network Rail, I know they get a wee bit salty about you filming in the station without permission, and I don't like speaking to camera with a mask on. I've got plenty of time, so I'll probably just head to a wee supermarket and get some snacks for the journey. Edinburgh is eerily quiet tonight. Okay, so I couldn't find anywhere open for food, so if you are doing this journey, make sure you come prepared. So we'll head back to the station now, and we might even see the train arriving. I'm sure this one possibly comes from Inverness, Aberdeen, down to Edinburgh. There's also a line that starts in Fort William, and that'll come down, I think, through Glasgow, and then both of these trains will join up a wee bit south of here at Carstairs and head down to London. I think that's how it works anyway. I came back into the station and I saw the carriages just sitting on the platform, so I raced down, hoping that I might be able to get on a wee bit early and that gives me more time to sleep tonight. But unfortunately they haven't even been coupled up to the locomotive yet. But one thing I do know for sure is that that locomotive at the front, it'll travel tonight at an average speed of less than 45 miles an hour. More time for me to sleep, I guess, but that is slow. Coach C, cabin 4, let's get on board. Right, here we are on board. I tell you what, that was a squeeze for me just to get along the corridor. So welcome to my wee cabin for the night. 2 bunks out, that's a bit of a shame. I wish there was only the one. It is quite a small space, but I've got a bathroom. I'll show you around. So one side we've got a mirror. See, we've got both bunks are down. That's a shame. Because it's only single occupancy, it would have been nice if it was just the one bunk at the bottom. That would have given me a bit more space. But of course, this way it does give me the choice of where I want to sleep. I could go in the top bunk or the bottom bunk and I might get a better view out the window. So at the far end we've got the sink and the branded towels. Got a little coat hook there, and then in the club room you get your own bathroom. So we've got the toilet, which is just here, and you put that down of course to use the shower. The bathroom's actually not a bad size. I have heard complaints before that the shower has only cold water. We'll soon find out. Oh, and that must be the towels, so it's all right. And in case you're wondering where your wee table is, it's just under the sink. There we go, it just folds out like so. Fairly sturdy actually, I like it. If we have a look at the control panel here, we've got a nice bright reading light there. You can dim the actual cabin lights, which is really nice, or you can switch them off altogether. We've got temperature control here and a USB, not USB-C though, it's the old USBs. And a nice kind of material on the walls. I'm sure I used to have a jacket like that. So first impressions of the new Caledonian Sleeper, actually pretty good, although I say new, it's since 2019. Now I had travelled on the old Sleeper and I'd worried that the new one might be a wee bit style over substance, but it looks pretty good and we'll see how comfortable it is tonight. As long as I can keep the temperature down, I like to have my bedroom very cold at night, and I hope I can do the same here as well. What will we go for breakfast? I think we'll need to go for the Highland breakfast. That's served in the club car, so there's no room service for that one. And drinks, I think tomorrow morning I'm going to need a coffee. Can I go for an orange juice as well, I think? Now, time for breakfast, 6:45. That sounds fine. 06:45. Location in the club car. Do you require a shower token? No. I think I just switched my own shower on. And wake up time, nah, I'll just set my alarm. Perfect. There we go. And we've also got the wee key to the room here, so it's just like in a hotel. So let's go for a wee walk along the train. How narrow is this? Still about 15 minutes before we leave, but there's not much happening out here. Waverley's a very quiet place tonight. Current restrictions mean there's no sitting on the stools at the window, but to be honest I've heard they're not the comfiest anyway. So I sat at a nice table with wine and a snack as we pulled out of Edinburgh in the direction of Carstairs. Bang on time. The food was really tasty and it was so nice to be able to relax out with the restrictive four walls of the cabin. I'll pop all the club car menus at the very end of this video. Now of course midnight was far too late to have nachos and wine, but I did that just for you guys. Oh, is this me? Is this coach C? I think so. Right, I'm back in my cabin, so I'm trying to be as quiet as possible, just in case I've got neighbours through these thin walls. And I've got a wine in me, so I need to be very careful. So we've got a sleep kit here with earplugs and eye mask. I might use that tonight. We have got pillow spray, very posh. Hand and body lotion. I've never used hand and body lotion in my life. Hand and body wash and conditioning shampoo. Yeah, we'll give that a try. So I'm going to have a wee shower before bed. Now I've never had a shower on a train before, so this is a big moment for me. Should I film it? Of course I'm filming it. The length of cabin is 190 centimetres. And we've got a width of 130. And the width of the bed itself is 65 centimetres.
No, there is something about that tangle of strangers, pressed together for days with nothing in common but the need to go from one place to another and never see each other again.
That's me in bed. It's 12:20, so a little bit earlier than I expected. So that gives me a good 6 hours to recharge my batteries as well as recharge my batteries. So remember, bring a plug because there are normal sockets in here as well. Now one thing I always do in a sleeper is swap the bed round, so I've popped the pillows at the window side so I can get a little look out the window, even though it's dark and there's nothing to see. If we pass a station or something like that, I can have a wee look out. But that's me, so I'll see you in the morning in London for breakfast. Good morning from Alcatraz. Nah, to be fair, it was a comfy night, but only about 4.5 hours sleep. We're just outside the M25, so not far to London now. I'll go and get some breakfast. That was actually a really comfy night. Don't take my face as evidence of how it was. I always look like this in the morning. That's us just passing a very frosty looking Watford Junction. That's the last stop before we get to London. In fact, it's one of the only stops. Breakfast time. Ketchup or brown sauce? So it's just before 7 o'clock in the morning. I've had my breakfast. What a civilised way to start the day. And that's us pulled into Euston, but not a very good view of the station from here. Here's a wee sneaky peek at the normal seats you can take in this train. But when you think this service takes 7 hours overnight, when the normal daytime service takes, what, 4 to 4.5 hours? It's a braver person than me that sits in these seats all night. But But anyway, welcome to London Euston. We're bang on time this morning. All I've got to do now is wait for the sun to come up and then I can show you some of those sights. Well, Euston Station's certainly not the nicest place to arrive in London, but it's great to be back in the streets on this Thursday morning, just as the city's wakening up. So my final thoughts on the Sleeper, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I've heard some good and bad reports about this new service, and people saying that the old Sleeper was better, but I think the old Sleeper was just looking a bit too tired, and it was about time for a refurb. And everything about it was just perfect for me last night. The only thing probably to say is that it wasn't long enough. I only got about maybe 4 or 5 hours sleep. Obviously I was recording a video, I could have just gone to my bed as soon as I got on the train in Edinburgh, and that would have given me a bit more time, but for me arriving in London, I'm not quite fresh enough if I had to go to a meeting or something like that. But I'm just going to be going for a little wander today, so it's absolutely fine. So I've nothing to complain about, apart from maybe the price. But then when you weigh up getting to London and maybe the cost of a hotel here in the capital, it's not that bad. I would love to go back in the Sleeper to Edinburgh tonight, but that's unfortunately not an option. So thanks very much for watching today, and that's the end of my Sleeper experience, but it's not the end of the video, so hang about and I'll give you that little bonus feature that I promised you. What a beautiful part of town this is. A nice morning as well, and I found what I'm looking for, the first place. This is just the first of many little Scottish places today, and it's got some amazing history. When they were building the very place we arrived in this morning, Euston Station, they pulled in construction workers from the 4 corners of the country, so England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. But the problem was, when these workers were finished for the day, they'd go to the pub and they all ended up fighting. So they had a solution for this, and that was to give each of the nations their own pub. And I'm about to show you the one that the Scots got. It's called the Edinburgh Castle. Not spelt how you might think, but here it is anyway, and it's a gorgeous looking pub. I tell you what, if it was open, I would go in right now. Now, all of the pubs were called something Castle, so that's the Scottish one. I think there are 3 of the 4 still survive to this day, well, the names of them anyway. I'll try and find a couple of the others. Well, just around from the Edinburgh Castle, I've now found the Dublin Castle, so maybe it's not the 4 corners of the UK, because Dublin's in the Republic of Ireland, but you know what I mean. Now the Welsh pub, that's a wee bit further away, but I've got to complete the set, so let's go for it. As I'm looking for this Welsh pub, we've stumbled into Primrose Hill, such a posh part of the city. How the other half live. Posh pigeon. And there it is, our third and final castle, the Pembroke for the Welsh. Well, that's put me a wee bit further off track than I should be, so we'll pop into this beautiful underground station to get to our next location. Now I've quickly just stopped off at Tottenham Court Road tube station to look for some Edoardo Palozzi murals, and just as I've got off the train, I think they're here. Edoardo was born in Leith of Italian heritage, and his mosaics here at Tottenham Court Road station certainly brighten the place up. Unfortunately, some of them were removed for the Crossrail project, but they've been saved by the Edinburgh College of Art, and I think they'll be on display there now. Right, let's get back on the tube and down to Embankment.
The next station is Embankment. Change here for Bakerloo, Circle and District lines.
It's the 6th of January today, and that means that in a couple of weeks in Scotland we'll be celebrating Burns Night for our national poet Rabbie Burns. Now here at Victoria Embankment Gardens there's a statue of Rabbie, and it's one of a series of only 3, the other 2 being in Dundee and New York City. Maybe I'll visit those one day as well. I'm sorry man, close your ears, but I've never really liked Robbie Burns. But the 25th of January, it's still a good excuse to eat haggis and drink whiskey, and I've got no problem with that. The impressive Whitehall Gardens dragged me away in the wrong direction towards Westminster, but it was great to see the covers finally coming off the Elizabeth Tower following its major refurbishment. I was also just in time to see the Norwegian spruce Christmas tree, a gift each year from the people of Norway, make its exit from Trafalgar Square. Right, here we are, final stop of the day. I've come across to Barbican Station and I'm just walking to somewhere quite significant to Scottish people. So it was here on this very spot in what is now a quiet London street where William Wallace was finally put to death. He'd been arrested just outside Glasgow for the crime of treason, brought down to London, hung, drawn and quartered, beheaded, his head dipped in tar and displayed on London Bridge for all to see. And all that's left now is this little plaque commemorating the spot where he met his brutal execution. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings to an end our little day trip to London. Now, the cheapest way for me to get home is to fly, so I'll head down to Gatwick Airport now and jump on an EasyJet back up to Edinburgh. Thanks again so much for watching today, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. And I've got so much love for this architecture, by the way.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. We got everything here, at least to stay alive. And the time that we share makes it all worthwhile. Got this place on our own. Do you feel that we got something strong? And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise that we I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about. We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise that with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about. a miracle that you and I have found.